Europe is a diverse continent with multiple languages and cultures. It's also expensive to live, making it difficult for people on low incomes to get by. But some European countries are still affordable enough for the average person to live comfortably. Here we have the top 10 most insanely cheap countries to live in Europe. But before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications for future updates. Number 10. Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a beautiful country with a long history and wonderful beaches. It has a diverse landscape, making it an attractive place for tourists to visit. There are also plenty of historical landmarks that you can visit, such as the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral in Sofia. The cost of living is quite reasonable. Bulgaria is also a cheap country to rent in. The average monthly expenses for an individual in Bulgaria is around $500 to $650 US, with the cost of groceries being about $30 to $40 per week. Number 9. Slovakia. Slovakia is a calm and peaceful country with much to see in the natural world. There are lovely green areas for hiking, plus there's plenty to do when you live in Ljubljana, the capital city. The cost of living is not very high in Slovakia. The average monthly expenses for an individual at around $500 to $650 US. You can rent a place for as low as $120 to $140 US per month, or get a room in a shared apartment for around $80 to $90 US per month. Number 8. Czech Republic. The large beer hall in Unported, Czech Republic, one of the cheapest places to live in Europe. The country has a great exchange rate, and you can get cheap flights from many international destinations because it's relatively close to continental Europe. Prague is a beautiful city with lots of historical buildings, many of which are free to visit. Getting around with public transport costs about €1 per journey, while a meal at an average restaurant will cost around 10 to 15 euros. Typical monthly expenses for an individual would be between $400 and $600 US. Number 7. Poland. Poland has large portions of its country that are rural, so if you like the idea of spending time in a more remote area with lots of natural beauty, it might be worth checking out. But Warsaw is also an interesting city full of history and architecture, which you can see for free at the Warsaw Uprising Museum. Public transport costs about €2 per journey within the city, although there are often special deals if you buy multiple tickets. A meal on average costs around €10. Typical monthly expenses for an individual will be between $350 and $650 US. Number 6. Romania. You can get cheap flights from many European cities, so Romania is a good choice if you want to visit other countries in Europe. The capital city of Bucharest has various architectural styles because it's been invaded by different groups over the years, such as the Ottomans and the Austro-Hungarians. Getting around with public transport costs about €1 per journey, while a meal at an average restaurant will cost between €4 to €7. Typical monthly expenses for an individual will be between $300 and $400 US. Number 5. Belarus. Belarus is a great place to live for a lot of reasons. It has a relatively low cost of living and plenty of beautiful places to visit nearby. You can find many cheap flights from Belarusian airports and good rail infrastructure connecting the country to other parts of Europe. It has the lowest cost of living in Europe with extremely cheap transportation and groceries. There are also no visa requirements for people from outside Eastern Europe or Russia, making it an easy country to relocate to. Belarus has a low cost of living across the board, but groceries and restaurants are especially cheap if you eat local food. A 3-course meal with drinks for 2 typically costs less than $10. Monthly expenses for an individual living in Minsk would be between $400 and $650 US. Number 4. Latvia. Latvia is a small country with a low population density, which makes it an attractive place to live for people looking to experience nature while living in Europe. Latvia's capital, Riga, is a beautiful city with many great places to see. The cost of living in Latvia is cheap. Renting a place to live costs around $200 US per month, with utilities costing about $40 to $50 per month. Number 3. Hungary. The Parliament building of Budapest, an iconic landmark and one of the most beautiful buildings in Hungary. Hungary is a peaceful country with cheap travel costs as well as cheap food and rent. Public transport there is also quite good, so getting around the city is easy. You'd be surprised to know living costs in Hungary is relatively cheap, with rent being around $200 per month, though it would cost you double if you lived in Budapest. Number 2. Ukraine. Ukraine is traditionally an affordable country to live in, with the cost of groceries being very reasonable. The country also has plenty of beautiful beaches along the Black Sea. The cost of living is quite expensive, particularly if you eat locally, which costs around $8 to $10 per meal. You can get a bed for as low as $15 per night in a hostel. Renting a place to live is also inexpensive, with apartments for rent starting at $150 to $200 per month. Number 1. Montenegro. Montenegro is a peaceful and tranquil country, ideal for nature lovers. There are lots of places to visit when you live in Montenegro, such as the old town of Kotor and Lake Skadar National Park. The cost of living in Montenegro is fairly inexpensive if you eat local food and shop at markets instead of large supermarkets. Renting a place to live costs around $200 per month, while utilities cost $20 to $30 per month. These are some of the cheapest countries in Europe to live in. They're awesome places with much to do for very cheap prices or even no money at all. Hope you liked this video, and good luck with your next journey.